Chef David Rose coming at you again at the Georgia Power Customary Resort Center. And today, I'll be whipping up, wait for it, a pork Wellington with fondant potatoes and a mushroom sauce. It's gonna literally blow your socks off. And what I'm using today is, behind me, the Alto Sham Vector oven. It's a combination oven that has some really cool features, but only one way to find out is by staying tuned on the Chef Series, and we'll be back after this. Stay tuned, guys. First things first, when we're eating meat, any kind of meat, we want that tender, luscious, succulent meat. And a really good way to take an exceptional cut of meat to an extraordinary cut of meat is to use a brine. So I'll be showing you a simple brine for this recipe that can be used over and over and replicated to get your meats nice and tender and delicious. First things first, water. That is the liquid we're gonna be using in our brine. The great thing about brines also is you can get real creative with it. You can use different types of juices, different types of beer, different types of alcohol. It'll impart really good flavor. So get creative, get fun. As long as you keep to these standards as far as using liquid, salt, sugar, you'll be okay. Second step, we have the water in there. We add kosher salt. We add sugar. The sugar and the salt is gonna act kind of as a curing solution where it's gonna tenderize and also break down and marinate the meat. So we have that, little bit of garlic in there, because who doesn't like fresh garlic? You wanna always have some type of aromatic. In here, we have thyme, we have bay leaves, and green peppercorn. The reason I like green peppercorn a lot, it gives a nice little fruity light note, and it plays very well with the pork in this dish. Once you have everything, all your brining ingredients in the pan, you bring it to a boil, and you whisk it. Whisk it good. Kind of reminds me of this song. All right. So once that comes to a boil, all those delicious flavors, the aromatics, the salt, the sugar, the green peppercorn, the thyme is gonna infuse into that liquid. And that's gonna be your brine. Easy enough. You let that cool down to room temperature. When it's nice and cooled, you take your pork tenderloin and you put it into a Ziploc bag. And we have our cooled down brine right here. You see those peppercorns floating around, that garlic got nice and tender, the thyme. It's gonna add really exceptional flavor to this pork. And what you do, you just pour that over the pork and you let the brine do its thing. You let it massage and break down and tenderize the muscle fibers. And I tell you, pork tenderloin by itself is good. With this brine, forget about it. Gonna be amazing. So you let this do our thing. Ideally, you wanna let it marinate overnight, but I'd say at least, if you're in a rush, at least 2 to 3 hours. But with this right here, time is of the essence. You could do it shorter, but ideally overnight, you'll get those flavors to get in there and just seep into the meat of that pork tenderloin. And when you bite into it, you'll know. So stay tuned for the next steps in this Chef Series. It's gonna be exciting. Stay tuned, guys.